We should actually do on the way to My Chemical Romance. We should record a secret episode.
Oh hell yeah, I'm all about it.
Where are you guys seeing My Chem?
Minneapolis,
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's opening?
Sleater-Kinney.
Oh,
yeah.
that's really cool.
It's gonna be really fun.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
awesome.
so good.
I would love to have seen Death Cab open for My
21
Chem.
Pilots in October.
Yeah, actually, that was what I was going to say.
I genuinely I thought about doing that. I was like, I want to see Death Cab and Thursday open for My Chem.
Yeah, I want to see Ben come on stage for Car Radio. I feel like that would change my life for 21 Pilots.
That yeah.
Did he feature on that? Or
No, I don't want to see that. You guys actually don't.
I don't know anything about 21 Pilots.
You guys must not know 21 Pilots game.
Welcome to Noise Floor, a podcast about music and our favorite artists' discographies. I'm Troy Sennett.
And I'm Matt Kistler.
And today we're talking about Death Cab for Cutie's Narrow Stairs, released in May of 2008 on Atlantic Records, produced by Chris Walla. And we have a guest joining us, our friend Blake Correll, vocalist and guitarist of Broken Left Foot, host of Like What You Like, and probably 2026's most prolific Joyce Manor scholar. Is here with us.
Yes.
What's up, Blake?
I was actually going to implore that you said that, so thank you so
Good.
much.
I'm glad I wrote that in my little intro.
Well, hi everybody. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. You were excited about this album. It is
Yeah.
the source of your Instagram handle. And but also you and Matt both saw Death Cab for Cutie like 3 days ago.
We did.
Tell me about this show.
It was great. They were incredible.
So we drove an hour and a half from Chicago to Milwaukee because this tour, I guess, is a B market tour, and Death Cab was just here maybe a year ago for the Plans.
Yeah.
Like shows that they did in New York, Chicago, and Seattle. So I'm assuming that's why they didn't play here, but they eventually will, and I will be there.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, they played a lot of new songs, but they still played a lot of kind of old stuff. They didn't go deep into they played one song from the photo album. They didn't go to they didn't play a lot from Facts, but they did play a lot from Narrow Stairs. They played 4 songs.
They played the first 4 songs off of this album, which was sick because I think it's a really good opening run.
Yeah, we'll get to that's my favorite part.
We will get to that eventually.
We also met this man named Christian, and I've never met anybody who knew more about Death Cab for Cutie than me. And so
it was stunning to watch, honestly.
I was like, I don't know if you could see it on my face, but I was like, I need to up my game so hard because they played what was the song they played from photo album that
We Laugh Indoors.
They played We Laugh Indoors, and Christian was like, I've never seen them play this before. And I was like, how the hell do you know that? So then I made my own life list of Death Cab for Cutie songs I've seen them play from Setlist FM. So now I will know next time they play a song I've never seen them play before.
What's your white whale?
My white whale, geez. Oh, it'd be cool to see them play No Joy in Mudville.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
That would be a
from
very
Facts.
good one.
That feels like we will probably never bother playing that song at this point in their career.
If they ever
but yes.
do a full, that really awoke me to the full album playthrough as okay, here's my completionist thing. So now I can see them play when I saw them play everything from Plans or Transatlanticism. It's these are stats padding shows.
That's me with the Wonder Years.
That's awesome.
and missing the No Closer to Heaven tour hurt that badly because there's one or two songs from that record that I have never heard live, and I feel like I never will because they're the real deep cuts.
Yeah.
So this lifeless thing is not foreign to you?
No, I think about this mostly with the Wonder Years.
Okay.
But yeah, there's definitely bands where I would like to see every song live or every album or whatever it is. Yeah. So what is your history with Death Cab for Cutie? When did you get into them?
My history. I have to. God, it must have been maybe around 2009.
So current to the Narrow Stairs.
Around the Narrow Stairs era, I had just gotten into high school. I was really into watching really fucked up movies like Requiem for a Dream over and over again. And I had one of my mom's boyfriends who I've never told the story before, but he was like, oh, you like really fucked up stuff. You should like listen to like 30 Seconds to Mars and like Death Cab for Cutie. And so like I watched like the Kill music video and Calf. And that was kind of my first introduction to Death Cab for Cutie. And I think I had heard like I Will Follow You Into the Dark before. But yeah, that was kind of my first introduction. Then over time, I just kind of amassed more of an interest in it. I got like plans as like a gift for like a bachelor gift. I don't know if that's something that everybody does, but like I had like somebody asked me to be in their wedding and gave me an album in order to do that.
That is cool.
Really cool.
I gave all my groomsmen pocket operators, like little drum machines. That are falling apart, but
well, yeah.
Yeah, so that's very normal. It is plans is a great wedding gift or wedding participation gift.
Very interesting. Yeah, so I got that, and then that seeded a lot of interest in that album, even though I was like aware of it and stuff. And then over time, it's just like the interest has just grown a lot. I'm fascinated with Ben as a songwriter. And then I learned about Ben, I learned about Chris, and then like really got captivated by the rhythm section with Nick and Jason. And like over time, like it's just a band that keeps on giving, and a band that I enjoy talking about because it's a band that a lot of people have a history with. And it's usually like different periods, but like the thing I hear the most when I talk to people about Death Cab is that they used to like Death Cab.
That's interesting.
And
Wild.
I've kept them so like near and dear to my life that's fascinating to me, and I always like want to understand that. But I'm always down when they release a new record. Like I've been like seated for like Thank You for Today and through like Thank You for Today all the way up to like the new record. So like it's
Kintsugi defender like me.
Yeah. And I love Kintsugi too. Like it's like a catalog that's so like vast and has so many different pockets in it, and even like the quote unquote like worst records, like I still get something out of them over time, and my relationship changes to them like yearly.
Yeah. I like this idea of like realizing that everyone else is like I used to like Death Cab for Cutie person, because I feel like that probably kind of starts with this album, because Plans and Transatlanticism were such mega hits.
Yeah.
Sorry, we keep looking at my computer just to make sure it doesn't crash.
Yeah, you're good.
And I feel like this is the album that starts the like where the old Death Cab for Cutie and the new Death Cab for Cutie divide is probably starts right around this record, because this is a lot of people who probably heard Plans in high school, then they get to college and maybe stop following the same bands and stuff like that, and this becomes the forgotten era of the band. This was a big album, but not. Yeah. I feel like even myself, like Plans came out when I was in 8th grade, I think, and by the time not that I didn't, like I heard songs from this record when they were released as singles and stuff, but I kind of stopped following this band for a while and came back around Kintsugi. So this feels like the lost era of the band to me, and I feel like there's probably a lot of people who didn't come back for it. I don't know, Matt, what about you? What's your history with Narrow Stairs? Were you into it when it came out or anything?
I was into it when it came out. I was in college when this record came out, working at the radio station. I technically was like the loud rock director, but I remember getting the single for I Will Possess Your Heart and seeing that there were two versions on there. One was 8.5 minutes long and one was like 4 minutes long, and being like, all right, let's go. And I was very on board for this record. I don't think I explored the record a ton itself, but I really was into I Will Possess Your Heart specifically. But like revisiting recently, I'm like, oh no, I do remember pretty much all of these songs, even if they didn't like hit the way they do now, which is a running theme for this series, for me personally, as a person who likes Death Cab way more than I used to at this point in my life.
Were you following the press cycle or anything leading up to this record and how they were talking about the album?
No, and that was weird to read about. Like everybody keeps coming back to this quote from Chris Walla about the record being bloody, and then he says something about eating a puppy. It's weird.
I saw that one, but no,
it's weird.
He calls the album weird, polarizing, abrasive, says they were influenced by sludge metal and synth punk. I don't know that I hear a lot of that on the album, but in comparison to an album like Plans, where I think it's very clean and smooth sounding, I mean, the idea with this record, from Walla's perspective at least, was to do more of an Albini band in a room style production, which he had the idea to do with Fax and then got frustrated with it. But this one, he said, like, I wanted to be as hands-off as a producer as I can be. We have only 2 rules. No one can stop a take and anyone can veto a take. And we're going to just keep doing it until we get something that we're really happy with.
Yeah.
And so in it, it's just kind of like every Death Cab album is a response to the one before it. The way they made this record is a response to the kind of long odyssey of plans. And this is more, I think they did it over multiple studios in multiple months, but it's more quick and dirty in terms of the actual performances.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like continuous takes, like unbroken stuff. Like I Will Possess Your Heart is like apparently the 4th time that they ever played it, which we can get into more when we talk about that song. And then there was another one that was fully...
I mean, Pity and Fear is the one that's kind of infamously, the tape machine broke and they kept the take because they liked it.
Yeah. There was another song. We'll get to it at some point, but I think there was like another like one take song or like, I think it was, we'll just get to it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, in terms of the writing of this album, Ben, I feel like feels like he was not in a very good place making this record.
Not really, no.
And talks about it being like, I don't know, just kind of delving into these very dark places. I feel like he gets into a lot of this album is getting into the heads of characters that you wouldn't want to root for.
Right.
There's a lot of these songs are like either from the perspective of stalkers or people cheating or leaving or whatever in relationships that they're not happy in. And whether these are, I mean, obviously not all autobiographical, but I feel like they're a reflection of the mental space he was in at the time.
Definitely. And much like, I mean, we'll get more into it, but like a lot of these situations where it is like kind of these like darker themes, it's like this stuff happened to people that I know, kind of like what we saw with Styrofoam Plates back during the Photo album.
Do you guys feel like, do you gravitate to the darker Death Cab or the more, I don't know, the kind of more like wedding vow Death Cab you get on plans?
Oh, man. I mean, I love the darker stuff. There is like some like more kind of upbeat stuff on here, like more majory stuff that I like too. Either side is like good for me. It's because sometimes the brighter stuff is still lyrically kind of dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Kath, like a great example of that.
For
right.
Sure. Trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, he just is always, this album particularly, there's a lot of quotes. This essay that he wrote for Paste about the making or the writing of the album, I think is very worth reading if you're into this record at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this quote is, a lot of it is about going to this cabin at Big Sur, this album very Kerouac-inspired, like, you know, a lot of his writing. But this idea of like going to this place to try to feel how one of your heroes felt while making their record, and then realizing like, why did I think I was going to come here and have this place change my life? And that kind of like that disappointment that then I feel like it's reflected in all of these songs in kind of specific ways.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this happens to a lot of people, like this expectation that like a place or a like set of circumstances will have this profound effect on you, and that it just often doesn't. I know I've experienced that with like specifically with places like going to like a particular city or whatever, and like it has to be what you make of it. You can't go in with it like the expectation that the place will do something to you, which is like an easy mistake to make, especially with like a place like this where like obviously Ben holds Kerouac in like very high esteem, and it's like this is where he wrote Big Sur. This is a thing that has deeply influenced me. There must be something about this place. But no, there's something about Jack Kerouac and like where he was at when he was there.
Right. He like talked about like doing like editing and I think he talked about more about like editing in the cabin, like for some of the songs on this record. And I feel like even going to a place with that intention is kind of dicey, because like you are building it up to be like, okay, like I'm going to take this batch of songs, and what's really going to fuel me to finish them and to make them great is because I will be in this place. And I think, I don't know, it seems to me that if you like really build it up to be that, you're kind of like up for some disappointment.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get into it in a minute. I'm going to be talking about Bixby Canyon Bridge specifically, but I feel like he takes that idea. I feel like he is able to engage with that idea and funnel it into the album in a way that is not just like, I was so frustrated, so these songs like don't feel finished. Because like he talks about like photo album songs just feeling unfinished. because they didn't spend enough time on them. Whereas I feel like he actually understands something about his own process and about art as he's even as he's having this frustration or this like demystification.
Right. Well, and like he talks in that essay about like how, you know, he talks about his relationship with the road and then like where Big Sur is in terms of like, I think this, I've got the quote here. You end up in reading Big Sur, it's the end of the road. You end up with a series of failed relationships and you start being an alcoholic in your late 30s and not having any real grip on the lives of people around you. And he kind of like talks about how like his life touring has like kind of ended up paralleling that, you know, with like, oh, I'm out of the lives of the people that I care about. Like people are having kids that I haven't met until like well into like their, you know, their lives. And that's such a strange feeling. And he like goes into this situation with that like kind of context and like, you know, as much as frustrated as he is about like the kind of like lack of a profound effect that the place has on him, great art does come out of it. Like this album kind of fucking rules.
Yeah, I like this album a lot.
Are you guys Kerouac fans? Have you read On the Road?
I've literally never read any Kerouac in my life.
I know like a lot of the mythology of it, but
Written on a scroll. And
that he like wrote it like one night or something.
Well, it's more that he wrote it on one continuous scroll of paper. I don't like On the Road very much. I read it on tour when I was 22, which feels like it should have been the exact perfect time to read it. And I don't like that book very much. So it's interesting. It's always interesting to be like, to see, well, for one, there are a lot of quotes in it that have been stolen by bands I love for lyrics. I mean, like Boys and Girls in America is like a line from that book. I Love the Way She Said LA is a line from that book. But I don't really like the book. And so it's funny to read, to be like, oh, I really am a huge fan of Ben Gibbard's writing. It's interesting he was so inspired by this writer that I don't particularly care for.
That is funny.
Yeah, he refracts it a little bit differently.
Yeah, for sure. Should we talk about the songs? Got anything else generally before we get into the track list?
Yeah, I think we'll reveal it as we talk about it.
Yeah. So it starts with Bixby Canyon Bridge with this sort of ethereal guitar intro and the story about going to the cabin where Kerouac wrote Big Sur and hiking down into this canyon below this bridge. And Ben describes this as the perfect introduction of the album because the whole album from here is like a descent. And it starts from this ethereal part. It gets so heavy and punchy, and the song goes a lot of places for an opening track on a record.
It really does. And like that kind of that sense of the feeling that he gets from like, you know, what does and doesn't transpire in this series of events. Like it does really kind of set you up for like the tone of the album in general. But it's like, this song's doing a lot of heavy lifting, I feel.
Yeah, I really love this song. It's one I like always come back to. It's something in like their live sets that's also like really awesome. And they, despite the fact that this is an opener for the album, they close with it. And it's fucking amazing. Like they turn the ending into like way more of like a bombastic thing. But yeah, I always like, I have such an easy time listening to this song and kind of putting myself in kind of like the narrator's like headspace and kind of like walking up to like the shallow creek and just kind of putzing around and just like waiting for something amazing happen, I guess, like from The Incredibles, like it's a really great song. And I really like kind of one of the things that Ben said in an interview I watched, he's like, the lack of transcendence is the transcendence is kind of how he described this song. And I can see that. I hadn't really like dug a lot into the Kerouac aspects of it, but it's like very much clear in this song as sort of like a thesis statement about that whole experience.
Yeah, and I really connected to the song even more as a comment on the creative process generally, like not even like beyond the specific experience, because I imagine at this point in his career, he has been asked so many times, like, where did these songs come from? You know, how did you get the idea for Our Falling Into the Dark? What is the magic that you know, because I think he's, especially in the Plans era, probably considered by many people to be this songwriter with this incredible gift for, you know, synthesizing all these ideas about, and that album, particularly about love and death and mourning and relationships and everything. And I mean, someone has probably been like, I want to go to the apartment where you wrote all those songs and stuff. And I feel like this is also him like demystifying the creative process to fans of his who are like, what is the magic? It's like, the magic is not, there is no magic. It is the magic is is just doing it over and over again until you get it right. And there's like being in the place, like, I mean, it's, you know, no closer to any kind of truth. It's that it is. I mean, he has this like, there's like reverie in the middle of the song where there's like a dream over this really incredible like instrumental section. But like, there's a reveal at the end where that really wasn't you don't come out of it with any knowing anything more than you do, except that the lack of transcendence is the transcendence, like you said.
There was one other thing that he said about this song is that like the introduction is kind of like more plans-ish, and then it descends into something that's more of what this record will become.
Definitely felt that when the full band kicks in with that like chuggy guitar part.
Such a good
I feel like that's not the first time they've done this either, because the photo album or Fax that starts off with like a really lo-fi thing that then I think it's Fax that starts off with like a super lo-fi thing that then halfway through the first song
title track
so I like that as like a thing they keep doing, of having the transition between the album happen in the middle of the first song.
That is sort of like a motif. That's a great call out.
I also love this quote from, I think this is also from the essay, when Ben says, when you reach the Pacific Ocean, you have to come to terms with a lot in your life and the lives of those around you, because there is nowhere else to go. I found that very like, you know, just made me like the song even more, that little bit on it.
The Foxglove and the Clear Cut, he says nowhere left to go in that song. That's on Asphalt Meadows. Little preview for the listeners.
Also a good album.
I love that one.
Next up is I Will Possess Your Heart, a comically long lead single at 8.5 minutes.
Oh man.
But I remember hearing this and just being like, they are going for it, and that's so cool. I mean, and hearing them open at the Riot Fest set with this song and play all 8.5 minutes of it. I think, was it when Kyle was on that we were just like, the radio edit of the song is for cowards?
Yeah, I think so. I have taken the liberty of figuring out how long the intro is on each version of this song, because there are 3 versions of this song. The album version, the intro is 4 minutes and 32 seconds. The radio edit, 1 minute and 14 seconds. The single edit, 37 seconds. Cowards.
Damn. So Nick came up with the bass line, which I thought was awesome. Just because Ben is sort of writing the lion's share of stuff, but I'm such a huge like Nick Harmer fan, and in the documentary that they did for this album, I forget what they called it.
Open
Window. Yeah.
He's so funny in that doc.
He's so funny, but like he's like, somebody asked him like, what's your role in the band? And he like gets up and walks over to his piano or whatever, and it's on a mantle, and he picks up this doll of Chewbacca. He's like, I'm like Chewbacca. Like I get to like come along for this and like be a part of the adventure, but I'm not like a main character. I'm like, dude, like I Will Possess Your Heart. Like Nick is the main character, and like he came up with this, and like it sounded like there was like a lot of intentionality that he wanted to like put into this part, and it pays off so well. So I want to really give Nick the flowers. Remember
if it's Ben or Chris in that documentary who says that is the bass line that he had been waiting his entire life to write, and I feel like it's a great description of that line, and it's like weirdly off kilter, but it grooves so hard, and by the 3rd minute of the song, you are just like so enraptured in that line, and then all the other guitar stuff and the piano stuff. There's like tape warping piano chord in there that's really cool. The intro builds in such awesome ways to then like become, then when the actual song kicks in, I feel like you're in the headspace of this stalker who's like following this woman around, and it ends up being like a very creepy song.
It like bolstered by the fact that like everything like kind of dissolves away as those first few lines come in. I fucking love that.
It's like in the fallout of it, right? Like you're like very much, it kind of feels like it's like dissipating, and then the song is sort of revealed.
It's very tense, foreboding. Like it works really well. I mean, like Lolita is the obvious reference point of just getting in the head of this person who is. I mean, I think this character is not maybe as evil as Humbert, but like,
no, but still pretty bad.
but it's the same idea of like this believing that you have the right to a person or their, and feeling like he knows they'll be together once she realizes how great he is. But the song isn't asking for you to empathize or to sympathize with this person. It's just like, here is this perspective, like make of that what you will.
Yeah. I just, before we go back into the lyrics, I want to quickly give props to Jason on this song. I didn't notice until this last round of listens, no crash or ride cymbal on this song at all.
Oh, cool.
It's just hi-hat, snare, tom, bass. And like I always knew there was something like a little different about it, and I'm like, oh right, he's just that talented of a drummer that he can get a ton of different like feelings out of the instruments without like having to resort to like any bombast in this song basically. But anyway, just wanted to shout that out. But yeah, like you said, like the song does not like give you an opinion on this person. You simply arrive at your own conclusion, which can be dangerous territory. But I think it's pretty obvious that this person is like kind of an abhorrent piece of shit. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know how other people feel.
It, like we were talking about earlier, like when we were talking about like digging into records when you kind of have an assignment to do it, I did like learn a lot about this album as a whole and like this song, like in kind of just being more intentional about listening to it. And in like some of the interviews, they kind of mentioned that the length of the song was like kind of a device that kind of feeds into like the stalker motif and like kind of like getting you in this like really like pensive headspace of somebody who's like maybe like biding their time or like whatever stalker people do. It's not really my thing, but I thought that was kind of a very interesting device that kind of like makes the length make a little bit of sense.
Yeah, I like that as like I don't think it needs explaining why they went so long in the song, but it gives it some extra context.
Yeah,
that I like. Paste called this one of the creepiest songs ever about love.
Come on, the Police have
there's
Every Breath You Take. Come on.
I mean, a related song in many ways.
Yeah, that's
this is their Every Breath You Take, I guess.
Yeah.
Was this the first single?
This was the first single.
Wow, big leap.
Yeah.
I admire it so much for that.
The music video, like they clearly put a lot of like money and work in the music video because they're
so many locations.
Yeah, they're filming like all around the world of just this like woman walking, and we clearly like from the perspective of the stalker or whatever. But even the band performance stuff where they're all playing in a freezer, and there's like
Chris looks like he's having the worst time anybody has ever had in that music video.
And there's like ice crystals like shooting off of the drums when Jason hits the toms. It's a pretty cool video, and clearly like they put a lot of money into it. And I mean, I remember seeing this video on VH1 and being pretty into it at the time.
There's a great live video of this too that I like always ends up like playing automatically on my like YouTube feed of them kind of in some studio like playing this song.
Is it from the Hall of Justice?
Yeah.
Okay.
That whole session is really good.
It's really cool.
Because that was when I realized like, oh, they really did basically do this album live because they're doing all the stuff that you hear basically, and they're like jumping between guitars and keyboards. And stuff.
That's awesome to see live. And I don't know, the instrument switch is such a power move. There's like in like the earlier Death Cab era, there was a song where Ben like plays the drums, like he gets on a second drum set. I forget what song it is, but
amazing.
It's really cool.
That rules.
He also gets on a drum set during one of the Postal Service songs. I think it's "This Place Is a Prison."
I think I remember that.
Yeah, he does like
I remember seeing that
or something.
at the anniversary show. Yeah.
Next up is "No Sunlight," another song which is like a really cool groove and a great bass line, and I feel like the band is just kind of firing on this one. Another song with like changing weather as a metaphor. This is like a thing that Ben goes back to a lot on Plans and also later on this album. I think it's just an idea that he's very into.
The sun is something that comes up a lot for Ben because even on Kintsugi there's Black Sun.
Yeah.
This song is like happy until it's not. Like,
this song is very much about disillusionment as you get older.
This is like one day you'll get older and everything will get worse.
Yep, that's really all there is to
the
it.
The bridge, you disappeared at the same speed as the idealistic things I believed when the optimist died inside of me is so good, and the way they're just like pounding on quarter notes through that entire section, it's really great.
Such a jam.
This was like one of the. I don't want to. It's not really a deep cut, but it's like a song that's like not a single. That like really kind of like revealed itself to me, and I think they played this at the show.
They did. They played I think the only songs they played from this record were Bixby Canyon Bridge through Cath.
Yeah, and I like this one a lot. It's I like how he kind of changes when he's talking about sunlight, because at the beginning he's talking about when I was young and the sun was this warming presence, and then like kind of juxtaposing that throughout the rest of the song to kind of establish that at the beginning. I think that's like a really powerful device.
Yeah, this is a move I feel like got pulled a lot on Plans. Was this like kind of like first half of song is one mood, second half of song or the second and third are a different mood or something like that, and like it's executed really really well here because like again like this song is very like this song romps is what I wrote down. Again, Nick Harmer, incredible bass part on this song. But yeah, everything's just like this song's so fun except for the part where it's not,
right? Which is kind of life.
Yeah, very very much so.
Yeah.
Ben said that the demo was like half the speed of what ended up on the record.
It was, and it's really weird to listen to.
Yeah.
I think maybe Chris was probably the one who suggested like this is probably too like wrist slitty if like this is slow. Like having more of a like happy jaunt to it probably lightens the blow a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, that demo, like the shape of the song is there. Obviously the drums and bass are not nearly as good because it's just Ben. No shade, Ben. You're just not as good as your rhythm section. I'm sorry.
I think you would admit that.
But it's like it's slower and more subdued, definitely. And like it's not what the final version ended up being, and the final version is much much better.
Yeah, agreed. After that is Kath. This was also a single. This one, I feel like, is, we mentioned earlier, a song that, in a way, musically at least to me, calls back to the Photo album with the style of guitar playing, and those like almost Midwest emo sounding leads. A song that is just very much about a woman who has settled in a relationship and is getting married, even though she might not actually love this person, but it kind of is, it's one of the few times on the album where I think Ben has like commentary in the song about the character.
Yeah.
Because it ends with him saying, you know, if their hearts were dying that fast, they'd have done the same as you, and I'd have done the same as you. Mm-hmm. And I just think that it's a nice little twist on this idea of like, whereas a lot of these other songs are just kind of like, I'm just in the heads of these characters. This gets outside of it a little bit.
Yeah, this is a character that Ben relates to, and he's going to make that explicit.
Yeah, this was the first song I ever heard, like, or ever connected to with Death Cab for Cutie. It's a song that I've like covered before, and I really love the riff. It's like very interesting and strummy, and has like a lot of like movements in it. The story of the song is like, the music video is also very, I feel like, very literal with like the content of the song. And it is, I think, maybe beat for beat like The Graduate, like with Dustin Hoffman in it. And I remember like kind of clocking that after I had seen this before I saw The Graduate. But yeah,
if you'd seen The Graduate in like middle school, I would have been concerned.
I was watching Requiem for a Dream. So
okay, I was going to say, never mind. Actually, you were watching much worse things at the time.
I was in the oeuvre of who's that director?
Darren
Aronofsky.
Yeah.
I really do like the way that this song sort of like downshifts, and I think just literally the master just gets quieter in the bridge as she's thinking about the possibility of like this other person, and which in the music video he is like, there's this sort of fantasy sequence where he's at the wedding and she like breaks off where no one else can see and like kisses him, and in the way that's like represented musically, I think works really well.
Definitely, yeah. This song just kind of bangs, honestly. I really something that I noticed on one of my listens is that like this feels like a really great companion to No Sunlight, insofar that it's like No Sunlight is about like kind of the disillusionment that comes with age, and then this is about like the actions that you may or may not take as a direct result of that. And that's like an interesting like kind of transition point. I feel like I had another moment like that on this record, but like those two songs like feel very paired in my mind now as a result of that.
Well, I mean, I think Your New Twin Size Bed is the other one.
For sure.
That is kind of along the same lines of like looking at a person who is past a certain point in their life where they feel like they can do any better or improve in any way.
Yeah.
I love the way this song ends too. There's like this dun 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 dun, and then it waits, and then they slide down. I don't know. That slide down for some reason is like iconic to me.
It's really good. That like if you didn't have any like context on how this album was recorded, like that's how you convey the live feeling. Mm-hmm. You know, you have those little moments like that where it's like you let something like kind of naturally decay, and then it's like, all right, I'm done holding this note.
If we're done talking about Kath, I have a fun fact that I just sort of realized in the moment. But
go for it.
In the Kath music video, this guy is the same guy from the Welcome to the Black Parade music video. Yeah.
I thought he looked familiar. Oh my God.
I just assumed he was on some TV show that I had seen years ago or something.
I mean, that's also
I just realized
possible.
that.
I have not looked into the casts of any of the music videos we've
crazy.
watched.
The Kath video is like all the shots of the band in the green room just singing straight down into the camera but then like you can see Chris over Ben's shoulder also singing, or like it's so weird.
I don't like
It's
it.
really
Interesting
unsettling.
choice.
Ben has too much sideburns also.
I gotta
Sorry,
say
Ben.
that the hair choices in this era of Death Cab are a little out there.
You got the freaking full-on mutton chops.
Not to comment on people's looks, but that was striking.
He figured it out.
He did.
After this, Talking Bird, where the album kind of downshifts into a quieter mode. This is a song about a relationship where one person is extremely controlling and is sort of. I feel like it's building on the ideas of "I will possess your heart," but like, what if he gets the girl and then is awful to her still?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This one starts like lower down and then kind of builds in an interesting way that I didn't clock until kind of this listen through. Like it does kind of rock a little bit more at the end. The line, like when you live in a house is it's a little clunky on the surface, but if you think about it, like a cage inside of a house, like I think it is creative. Talking Bird.
Yeah. No, I think that's. Yeah, if you're like reading the lyrics, it's like, what are you talking? Right.
Yeah. I feel like this also starts a section of the record. I don't know when the flip is for like the side B, but I always think of these like next 4 songs kind of together, just because they don't like fully like go straight into one another, but like it's just like maybe it's like the more down motifs of it. Like it's a little bit more of a different feel in like this middle section of the record.
Yeah, so this is the end of side A after
Is Talking Bird?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know what you mean, that I think there is this kind of, it almost is like an album in 3 acts more than it is like a side A and side B thing.
Yeah.
Because I can see this song starting, like you said, kind of a more reflective section of the record that probably ends at Your New Twin Size Bed, maybe, is where that whole like chunk of songs in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other connection I was seeing that I didn't scroll far enough in my notes to see was that I was like, oh well, if we're thinking about No Sunlight, Kath, and this in sequence, like this could be like the other side of Kath's relationship, which is really fucking dark.
Yeah,
if that's the case.
That is an interesting way to look at it.
But I do, now that you've mentioned like it being more closely tied to I Will Possess Your Heart, I feel like that's probably more the read here.
I just feel like
That's a great point, though.
I just feel like it's been getting in the heads of these characters who maybe even don't realize the effect that they're having by the way that they're acting.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
You know, you wonder how aware these narrators are of what they're doing, or how they're the subjects of the other sides of those relationships are feeling, or whatever.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this person, like, given like the end of the song here, like the "It's all for you as long as you choose to stay," like those are the words of somebody who believes that they're like doing right by this person.
Yeah.
Even though like there is like it's like on the surface of these lyrics that this is like basically somebody being held against their will.
Or is this a character who is just consciously gaslighting this woman? And
right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of different like angles you can look at that from. But either way, I mean, this album is dark, and it just,
really
like,
is.
All these. I feel like it does wear on you after a while of sort of being in the heads of these characters for so long, or like repeat listens.
A little bit, yeah. Did you listen to the demo of this song on the?
Yes, this is the one, the ukulele one.
Yeah. It's a really interesting shift because like on the album version of this song, like we've got, at least at the start of the song, we've got bass acting kind of as a rhythm guitar, which is like almost the opposite of a ukulele in many ways, and I kind of love that. Thank you, Chris Walla, for doing your thing as always.
After that is You Can Do Better Than Me. Something that very like Beatlesy feel.
Yes.
In a way that has like the marching drums and the organ.
100%.
Yep.
Which they cover a Beatles song in this era of the band.
Yep.
That we can talk about later. But just again, another song about an unhappy relationship. Not quite in the same way as Kath, but not like unrelated.
Yeah, like the kind of staying together because you're afraid of what the alternative is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has that jaunt to me, the happy song, but there's like a lot of really cool movement too with like the things that he's saying and the things that like the chords are doing in the song. I really I played this on like I would use the ultimate guitar tabs and play this on piano, and I just remember it being sort of captivating in that like sort of Hey Jude way where like where everything's moving. So I assume that Ben is maybe a Beatles fan in some respect.
Would be shocked if he was.
Yeah, this song goes as far as including sleigh bells in a non-Christmas context. So
yeah,
I feel like that's
a success.
That's a texture that is employed by not very many bands.
Yeah,
aside from pretty much the Beatles and the Beach Boys in my mind.
More than anything, this is a great segue into Grapevine Fires.
It really is. Grapevine Fires, I think, is my favorite song on this album.
Yes.
About the 2007 LA wildfires, and then is just more poignant to listen to in the the fires that have happened since then. But the Grapevine, specifically a section of highway outside of LA, and this is a song just about like literally just about watching this fire and then just like drinking wine with a friend and wondering if this is how your whole world is going to end, basically.
Matt, do you have any wisdom to share about the drum beat, because that's what I want to know about?
I don't have much to share about that, unfortunately.
That's all right. I've heard many drummers talk about this as being a very sort of interesting, I think the word overhand is used. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, it's Jason McGurr's a really fucking.
Is that like
drummer.
a shuffle? Is that like a shuffle of some sort? I don't know.
Kinda. Yeah, I'm
don't
struggling
mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. This is my fault for taking notes on drums for the wrong songs. Yeah, I'd really have to sit and think about it. But yeah, I mean, again, like Jason McGurr, like really truly exceptional drummer. Like I cannot overstate that. And he's always like we've talked about this a bunch on this show thus far, like how he always finds a way to enhance a song through the drum part or through the lack of a drum part. But like here, obviously it's the former. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to speak on specifically to that, but I wish I did.
It's a great drum part anyway.
Yes.
I don't even understand it and I love it.
Yeah. I obviously love the E-piano on this song. I think it's a Rhodes this time. I don't think it's a Wurlitzer.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also shout out Wine and Paper Cups, and I'm like, oh man, remember that song Champagne from a Paper Cup from back in the day? That's probably intentional, right?
I just think there's so much like solace and beauty in this song, like in the face of tragedy and disaster. It's a feeling that I don't get much really anywhere else on this record.
Yeah.
Which makes me almost think this song kind of doesn't fit on the album, but also is like kind of a needed reprieve from the sort of gloom of the rest of the record.
Yeah, because it finds joy in that darkness. Like there's the line, a little closer to the end, we watched the plumes paint the sky gray and she laughed and danced through the field of graves. Like this like very, very explicit juxtaposition of the macabre and the delightful.
Yeah. The kid thing probably kind of gets me in it too now.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly. Anything else on this one?
No,
just really, really good song.
I love it. It's
next up is You Knew Two Size Bed. This is the song, like, of course, that is the source of your Instagram name.
Follow me. Follow me, please.
Ben says this song came from the idea that there's no sadder image than a grown man in a twin-size bed.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, that is the basis of the song about this. This is the story of a guy who is, I feel like, kind of like given up in the sense that he is getting rid of his queen bed and sort of bequeathing it to whoever will pick it up from from the alley behind his house. And then it's just kind of like, well, this is what I've got now.
They're one of the other images that he mentioned in like the list of like saddest things that they had seen like on the road or something was somebody eating like a piece of birthday cake alone in a grocery store, which I think is interesting. I just got the idea that since we live in a beautiful city with many alleyways with free stuff in it, do you guys have anything from the alleyway like finds, like furniture or anything that you have in your house
We have several things. Mostly mirrors, I believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of
plucked
mirrors
from the alley. There was a full on like mirror dresser that I think Amanda Lee was very sad was already cracked. But we did not grab that one as a result.
There's a lot of treasures.
There are a lot
I
treasures.
found a melodica one time.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I cleaned it.
I was gonna say, please tell me you sanitized the shit out of that.
Yeah, just disinfect it.
I did disinfect it.
Thank God.
This very table that you guys are sitting at, I pulled off of
Wow.
the curb
Beautiful. Love
a
it.
year or so ago.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, this song, one of the things I think is really interesting about the song is the different perspectives that I think the subject and the narrator have about what is happening. Because I think that the person who is getting rid of his bed and is a twin-size bed has this idea that he is a form of acceptance and is like, there's a little bit of freedom to it, because he even talks about like, what's the point of holding on to what never gets used other than a sick desire for self-abuse? So to him to say like, to keep trying to be in relationships or whatever, to whatever this queen bed symbolizes, to keep trying for that at this point in my life is useless and is terrible. But then the person who is like the character who is singing the song, the narrator, is saying that like, you know, you've got me terrified that it looks like you're in some kind of hurry to say goodbye. Like, is seeing this as basically like a cry for help. And like, you know, I could see it from either perspective.
The mattress's perspective.
Well, the mattress, yeah. You know what I mean, though? Like, that is, I feel like the song is written from a perspective of concern about this guy, but I don't think he's that concerned about himself. In the same way.
I think it is definitely like two differing perspectives on, like, yeah, the observer in this song is thinking, wow, this is the most depressing shit I've ever seen, whereas the person in the like who is experiencing this is like, nah, you know what, I'm taking back, like, this is the situation my life is now, and that's fine, I can own that.
I don't need much more than this.
Yeah.
Apparently this one, the original song, was like too similar to I Will Follow You Into the Dark.
Interesting.
So
how do you mean? Like sonically? Or?
I think maybe the approach to it was similar to that, and they kind of rejiggered it. I assume this was a Walla Gibbard joint.
Yeah.
And they kind of changed it up so that they wouldn't repeat that, I guess.
Interesting.
Okay.
I would not have thought that those two songs would be the ones that were connected.
No.
Yeah. This one doesn't have, I guess, like the content that is as deep, I guess, as I Will Follow You Into the Dark.
Yeah. That actually kind of brings up an interesting question I have about this album. Do you think that there is any attempt at all to do something like I Will Follow You Into the Dark on this record? Or do you think they were consciously pushing back against that?
There's really not like an acoustic. There's like piano songs.
Yeah. Ice is Getting Thinner is the closest, but that's a very different idea.
Yeah, that nobody's playing that at their wedding.
Right. But I'm just saying that, like, yeah, I feel like there must have been pressure from a label or whatever to like, can you guys write another song that is like another acoustic song or another song that's going to be like a huge hit like that? I feel like this album is kind of consciously pushing back against the Death Cab as those sensitive indie band label or whatever.
Yeah. But not pushing too hard, I would say.
Again, not pushing too hard, but also like, we're not going to make something shiny for you.
Right. Because I feel like
we already wrote that song.
Yeah.
Maybe the difference that Chris was being genuine or maybe trolling a little bit with like saying this was like their like noisy sort of what bands did he say? Like it was like sludge metal or something
like that. Yeah.
Like maybe in comparison to Plans, if those were like the only records that ever existed.
Guy who's only ever seen Boss Baby. Yeah. I'm getting some real Boss Baby vibes.
This one's gonna blow your fucking socks off.
Yeah. After that is Long Division, yet another like relationship falling apart song. I feel like this is, at least my read on this is that it's about a person who has cheated in the past and is in a relationship where they swear they're not going to cheat and they cheat again, and it's just like that kind of cycle, and you can't, even though you are trying to not be in that cycle, you just can't get out of it.
I really like this song. I found it hard to write notes about it for some reason, but I like this and like No Sunlight were songs that like kind of revealed themselves to me as a couple of my favorites on here. And I'm just like very drawn to the anecdotes of this album because I think there's like a lot of like writing struggles in it, and apparently he didn't have the lyrics for this one until like the very end.
Yeah, and he was like, he like kept like trying to psych himself up for it, and it just like wasn't happening. And then like just like eventually had this like, you know, confluence of ideas like kind of like hit. Like apparently the Grapes of Wrath was involved in like the writing of this song. Not sure exactly how that worked, but it was like part of a line from that book. So like, you know, you can take that out of context and it's totally fine. I think, yeah, he says, I was like, oh, wow, that's a great image. What if instead of the wind roaring softly through the screen door, it's the sound of the TV? Which pretty similar in many, many ways. But yeah.
This has got one of those choruses like, you know, We Laugh Indoors or We Script Ending that I'm just like, I wish there was more than one word or 2 words in the chorus.
Yeah, you guys hate repetition.
I don't hate repetition.
I am anti the one word or one line chorus, except Mitski's Nobody is like one of the very few songs that I think kind of transcends that for me.
You saw me singing along to We Laugh Indoors. You know how I feel about Guinevere.
I would be singing along to it too, but I just wish there was more to that.
No,
to that
I get it. I do feel like this the like, I don't want to say the pun of this song because that feels really reductive, but like the commitment to it being the song called Long Division is apparent in the chorus, which I totally get, that being a little bit of a friction point.
So this song is, as far as I can tell, there's a picture in this photo book that I have of the chart for making this record, and this song is notably not on that chart, and I don't know if it's something that came about later in the writing process or if there was another song that was renamed. There's a song called Parallel Lines that was that may have been renamed or may have been abandoned. It's unclear. There's a couple others. Failed Inventor and Military Housing are songs that were on this board but crossed out in other pictures that were seemingly likely abandoned, and then there's songs on it that were presumably recorded for Narrow Stairs that then end up on Former Lives, the Ben Gibbard solo album. So it's kind of something interesting to look into. But this is like the one song that seems to have no spot on the earlier like main production process.
Probably because they were like, we don't have fucking lyrics for that song.
Right.
Ben, write that shit.
Ben, where are the lyrics? And this was very much an 11th hour, like it came together as a full-fledged song.
I'm iffy on this song. I'm iffy on the whole end part of this record, I think.
Yeah, these last 3 songs are a little bit of they do feel a little extra to me, but I feel like they're at least a little cohesive with what we've already heard.
They are. I mean, Pity and Fear, I think especially, it's playing with really similar themes and lyrical ideas as the rest of the album. It's kind of being trapped, of wanting to leave and not being able to bring yourself to make that move, or just hoping the other person will leave, or whatever it is. I mean, Pity and Fear, the big thing about this record is the song is the big instrumental section at the end that ends abruptly because a tape machine broke and they just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I like. The song I could take or leave.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this one, but I think a lot of it is that the end catches me off guard every single time. I like how dirty the outro gets, kind of in general. Lyrically, like this feels like it's again like kind of in the like this person is cheating on their partner, didn't see themselves as the type of person who would do that, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, like this isn't like a huge standout for me by any means in the like grander scheme of the album.
Yeah, it kind of decelerates a lot. We're talking about Pity and Fear, right? Yeah. I have the same problem at the end of Plans too. So like I think some of the last tracks, I don't want to say they feel tacked on, but it's just.
This is, I think, has it been almost every Death Cab record so far that I've been like, this could have ended like a song or 2 earlier.
Yeah.
Like they're not a closing track band for me for the most part. Like, I like A Lack of Color a lot, but there's a couple songs before that I think you could lose on that record.
We've also talked a lot about like bands kind of hitting their like thematic ending like 3 or 4 songs before the actual end of the record. I don't know if that necessarily happens here. But
the thematic stuff continues. I just think that the momentum of the album is kind of stopped by Long Division.
That's the thing is I don't think we quite have that here. But yeah, I can totally see the momentum. I mean, we can go into The Ice is Getting Thinner unless y'all have more to say about Pity and Fear.
Not really.
I like The Ice is Getting Thinner.
I do too. I think it is. I mean, it's not my favorite Death Cab closer even for a band that I don't think is like great with closing tracks. But I think it's a better coda for this album than anything else I could pick from this era.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is a song that like kind of it touches on like a lot of the themes of like disillusionment, growing apart, like stuff that Death Cab has touched on both before this album and like has talked about a lot on this album. I really love the like really cavernous reverb on the vocals and the like the little bit of echo. That's, I say a little bit, it's a lot of echo on them. That little I had to look up the chords for this. I can't pull this out of my ass. I don't have like perfect pitch or anything like that. But that little C sharp diminished that happens on the word surprise in the bridge is really, really good. It's not like an unprecedented move in music, but it pulls you. If you were like drifting off during this song, it pulls you right back in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The really dry like slide guitar that happens in this song too. That's dark shit.
I do like that, though.
I really like it.
It brings in something very like kind of eerie to it.
Did you listen to the demo of this song? That is a
did.
piano version that feels like they just took a sample of different names for the same thing.
It's really uncanny. It's so weird.
I did not.
But yeah, it's worth listening to, but it does sound exactly like that.
Yeah. It's like every comment on the YouTube video is like, this is just different names for the same thing with different lyrics.
Yeah, so they were giving this one a real glow up. Yeah, and like kind of to the point that we've already made a bunch of times about like this being a pretty like live album. Like the decay out of this song is like so natural in a way that like most people would not do on any record at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this song, despite, like I said, being about like a doomed relationship and being about kind of the inevitability of things falling apart, is just built on a metaphor that, while fitting, is just like, I feel like Ben has written much better lyrics and there's much more interesting ideas elsewhere on this record and of course on other records.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I don't know. Something about it just like doesn't fully land the album for me.
I think that's understandable.
I don't know if this is real or not, but during the pandemic when Ben was doing the live streams, I think I've heard you guys talk about these on previous episodes.
Sure, yeah.
He played this song and he mentioned, please fact check me, I probably need to go back and watch the video where he played this, but he wrote this for like a documentary about like climate change, maybe. And
so it's like way more literal.
It's like way more literal.
Damn, okay.
And I also don't remember if this part is correct or not, but it was too sad, so they didn't use it. So I think it was too down for the movie about like the end of the world or whatever.
That gives it some interesting context.
Yeah.
I did not even for a second think of this as a literal song.
But I mean, like metaphorically it works. He talks about the weather a lot, I guess. So
it's another seasons changing song.
Yeah.
Like this is like a well he's gone back to many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, here it is, right here on Genius, that it was written to be the end credit song for a documentary about polar bears. The producers found it too sad to be included in the documentary.
Okay, cool. Wow, I can't believe I remembered that.
That's so good.
The second verse referencing the wintry grave is literally supposed to be about a dead polar bear. That is so sad.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
Also, shout out to Ben for doing that.
Yeah, damn.
That live stream that kept me alive.
I've only watched a couple of them. I watched the Facts one when we were researching for that album, and I watched a little bit of a bunch of other ones. But there wasn't another one that was like, here's just a full album.
Yeah.
Like a full stream dedicated to an album. So I just kind of skipped around the other ones. But yeah, I should go back and watch more of them. They're kind of fun because he starts off being so DIY and then gets like even more like professional gear, and they look really nice.
Yeah, the whole band ends up in there at one point. Yeah.
Oh, dang. Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, so that's Narrow Stairs.
Can we talk about the album credits?
We absolutely can. Yes, I forgot to listen to this.
Okay.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It is Mike West reading the album
credits. Who is
credits.
Mike West? I still don't know who Mike West is. He's got a great voice.
He does have a
definitely
great voice.
Great person to read that. I have a quote here. This is different about I'm not even going to read it, but I feel like the ending of the record with the album credits, I heard people, or I was reading comments and people were saying like, this is something that like happens at the end of audiobooks.
Okay.
So like,
oh yeah,
I don't know if this is, because I was wondering if like maybe like a Velvet Underground album does this, or maybe they were like referencing something, but I thought it might have something to do with Ben's like shift in writing from writing about trying to write about specific things and going into trying to write about something that people can understand. And maybe that is sort of like, I'm stretching here, but like is sort of like more of like a fiction for this album. So maybe ending it with the album credits gives it like more of like, oh, you just like read a book. Like, guess what? It wasn't real.
Interesting. I don't, because the album credits thing isn't even up on streaming, so I just like didn't even I like totally.
I don't know if it's on the CD.
It's on the title version of this record.
Okay,
somehow.
I think it is on Apple Music.
Followed by the radio edit of "I Will Possess Your Heart," which is a really weird, jarring thing to hear again after you already heard the full version.
When I downloaded the album on Apple Music, it was like it shows the song shows up, but it's unplayable.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So. I don't know what the thinking behind that was, but the audiobook thing is a neat idea.
Yeah.
This album, eventually, it didn't sell, obviously, as well as plans, but it did go gold eventually.
It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard charts, too, which is
makes sense.
Very much, the second album after the big one usually happens.
It did get 2 Grammy nominations for Best Alternative Album. Should we do the same guessing game? Do you want to guess what it lost Best Alternative Album to in the 2009 Grammys?
Oh, man. I was going to say I wrote down one of the Grammys that it lost.
An album in 2008 that came out?
2008 album. A very, very good album. I think the Grammys probably picked correctly.
Was it Arcade Fire?
No. But you're in the right realm of music.
Okay.
Oh.
Another indie album?
English band.
An
album that was released in a non-traditional way.
Oh, it was Radiohead?
Yep.
Yeah, it was in Rainbows. In Rainbows, yeah.
I think In Rainbows is a better record than this one.
Thank you for that helpful hint.
I was like, oh, yeah, that one.
And I Will Possess Your Heart was nominated for Best Rock Song. Also lost to a song that I love, but I don't know if it's a better song than I Will Possess Your Heart. This is a song by a classic artist, an artist who someone in this room is wearing merch of right now.
It's to happen one night from Detroit.
One night.
I have the answer in front of me, so Blake, I'm going to have to ask you to guess.
Is it Weezer?
It is not Weezer.
Oh shit! I don't know then.
You're wearing a Bruce Springsteen hat right now. It's Girls in Their Summer Clothes.
I forgot about it.
Girls in Their Summer Clothes by The Boss.
Damn.
From the album Magic, an album that I think is really great. Toss up about whether I think the Grammys got that one right, but so that's the two Grammy noms. The mainstream success of this album, again, I think it was probably not quite to the level of a Plans, but I also think that they weren't trying to make the most mainstream successful album with this one.
No, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah. Bunch of B-sides. We kind of talked about a lot of the B-sides, the demos and stuff on and off already, but in 2009 they released the Open Door EP, which was largely, I think, recorded in the same sessions. Any particular songs you guys want to call out from this EP?
Oh, I got to look at the track list.
We got Little Bribes, Diamond in a Tether, My Mirror Speaks, and I Once Was a Loyal Lover are the new songs in this Talking Bird demo as well.
We were talking in the car before this, and I think my mind just wanders to like when these EPs come out, like if anything I would have wished to be on the album, and I don't think I would have wanted any of these on the album.
A lot of them don't fit.
Yeah.
Little Bribes is a cool song, but it's too jaunty and stompy for the album.
It's kind of the de facto single from this EP. It has a little music video that's like kind of very cute. Like it's almost a lyric video, but not quite.
Yeah, it's like stop motion. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you listened to Ben's solo stuff?
I have not.
This is the vibe that I get from this. Like it feels very much more of like kind of Ben compositions that have not been like touched to the same extent that the stuff that ended up on the album would be. So I don't fault it for that. I still enjoy Ben's swag on here, but I'm going to talk about Christian from the Milwaukee show again, because they had a very interesting opinion that there were a few tracks on here that would have been better swaps onto the record, and I had never kind of heard that big of an opinion on like what worked and what didn't work on Narrow Stairs. But shout out to Christian because he knows way more than me.
What were his? Do you remember what his takes were?
I don't remember.
He might have said I Was Once a Loyal Lover would have been good, but he had lore that I don't even know if it's on the internet.
I Once Was a Loyal Lover is, I think, the most interesting song on this record. Mm-hmm. I could very easily see that or Diamond in a Tether swapping into the album somewhere. Diamond in a Tether might make the album a little too slow paced. Whereas I feel like I would put I Once Was a Loyal Lover in for like Pity and Fear or Long Division, like kind of one of those back half songs that I feel like they're doing something pretty cool with like this fuzzy smashed acoustic guitar in the opening of that. It's pretty cool bass playing. I think that song in particular I could see being on the album.
The Grapevine Fires cut that's on the Apple Music version of this is longer than the one that's on the record. I just noticed.
Is it really?
It's 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and the one on the record is like 4 minutes and 9 seconds. So
Interesting.
There's 11 seconds of extra
Something there.
on there.
Cool. Then there's a couple like covers and soundtrack. Sorry, Matt. Did you have anything on Open Door? Any?
Not really. I like My Mirror Speaks quite a bit. Again, I don't think it really fits on the album unless you like swap it in for The Ice Is Getting Thinner, which probably doesn't work, especially as a closer. But just like, there's some like lyrical themes that like tie into that song. Which again, like that song is like kind of treading familiar ground for Death Cab in general. So that's probably not a real great comparison, but. Yeah.
There's a couple of compilation contributions from this era too. There's a Dear Boy cover, Paul McCartney song, and there's a Superchunk cover, Kicked In, both of which are I think fine covers.
Yeah.
The most significant one is probably Meet Me on the Equinox, which is their song they wrote for the Twilight Saga, the New Moon soundtrack. I assume this song has been like one of their most streamed songs.
Almost assuredly.
I think this is a pretty cool song, although I don't think Ben burned any Death Cab lyrics on this one.
No. I don't think so at all. Nick put a pretty cool bass line in it, but that's about the best I can give it. I don't know.
I mean, it really does feel like it could have been an outtake from the album, just rewritten with "Here's what happened in the Twilight movie."
Right.
Yeah. They're not ashamed to go for the bag sometimes.
Good for them.
With the OC. I mean, sometimes you're struggling, man. You need to do some stuff.
The bands were like fighting over getting songs on the Twilight soundtracks at this time.
That's the thing we've said on this podcast before. Stephanie Meyer has taste.
Yeah.
She picked good bands to be on these soundtracks, or at least for whatever involvement she had.
The Motion City soundtrack thing is still to this day one of my favorite things. Do you know about this?
No, I don't. Please.
So there's a Motion City soundtrack wrote a song for one of the Twilight movies. I don't remember which one. Maybe the first one. And their whole pitch for the song was we're writing a song from Edward's perspective.
Okay.
And the song, she was like, this song doesn't really fit on the soundtrack, but I really like it. And apparently it inspired parts of the Edward perspective book. And so when that book was coming out, she released this Motion City soundtrack song on her blog or whatever. It was like the first new Motion City song in many years. And it was just this one that they had, in the vault forever because it was the Edward song. It's a really good song.
That's
I don't
awesome.
remember what it's called. Like Crooked Ways, I think.
What's the Paramore song that is like
Decode?
Yeah, I don't really like that one.
Forever. Yeah, I feel like that's maybe the best thing that came out of Twilight. I've never seen the movies. I don't know.
I mean, Decode is a fine song, but it's like I can't back people for whom that's their favorite Paramore song.
The baseball scene is the best thing that's come out of Twilight.
Yes, that's true. The baseball scene is good.
I'll need to see that.
Yeah. I mean, the careers of Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson post
also
Twilight
pretty
are the
good.
best things come out of Twilight.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, there's a couple. We talked a little bit about the Open Windows documentary. There's the Live at the Mount Baker Theater live set from this era. I don't know. Any other odds and ends? Final thoughts?
There is. I should have brought it. I have it on CD. In 2009, Ben did more Kerouac stuff with Jay Farrar, which is an interesting album. It's way more Americana and folksy, and they kind of swap doing songs on it, but there's some really good stuff, and I learned about that because of those live streams again. There's a song called California Zephyr that I really like. I think they reuse like Kerouac lines just like verbatim and construct it into songs, so it is kind of like a continuation of this Kerouac era, and I don't remember when it was written, but it kind of maybe exists a little bit in the universe of this album. And I wouldn't say that it's a replacement for any Death Cab for Cutie. I kind of was thinking if I only knew Ben Gibbard in this context, if I would be as big of a fan. And I think I still prefer Death Cab, but I will support his endeavors.
I remember
outward.
on our Transatlantis, whichever song or album Coney Island is on. This photo album. The Coney Island demo is very like Americana, and I remember thinking that like Americana just doesn't sit well with them, I think. So I'm kind of curious. I'm curious about this Jay Farrar collab. Maybe he improved.
I think it works better because it's not trying to be Death Cab, like, if that makes any sense.
Because Jay asked Ben to do it, so it was Jay's project. I think they had like met in like some bar or something.
Yeah. It's also like for a documentary too, right? Or it came out of writing songs for a Kerouac documentary.
Some movie. I think it's about Big Sur. So
yeah.
I think Ben also did the score for a Nirvana documentary around this time too.
Hall of Justice, where a Nirvana record was recorded under a different studio name.
Yeah.
So a lot of connective tissue there.
Yeah. So Ben was busy in 2008 and 9 for sure.
Seemingly a very like prolific, even if Death Cab didn't put out like a ton of stuff around this time, he's doing a lot.
Yeah.
He is.
So we should do some random recommendations. Matt, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. I recommended a song from this album when it came out originally, but I'm going to recommend the full album now. This is the new album from Milwaukee-based screamo band Snag. It's called All the Cages Holding Us Will One Day Turn to Dust. I've talked about this band already on this podcast, so I'll keep it brief. Milwaukee climate anxiety screamo band. I have liked a lot of their material thus far. Their album Death Doula that came out several years ago was one of my favorites of that year. It was very much like more on the abrasive side, but Snag has dabbled in more like, I don't want to say traditional emo stuff, but like earlier wave emo stuff. That's a little like quieter and like has more like singing as opposed to screaming, and they kind of like revisited that sound on the back half of this album, which I think is really neat. So it's like it's got this cool amalgamation of like really aggressive stuff and like really like kind of not tender stuff, but like just more in line with that like kind of second wave emo type thing. And I think they pull it off really well. This album came out on Death Wish just a couple weeks ago at this point, and I've been really enjoying it. Yeah. New Snag album.
Sweet.
What about you, Troy?
I'm going to recommend this new album, Tell the Kids We Tried, by a Canadian indie folk artist named Jacob Brodowski. I discovered him, apparently I discovered him a few years ago, but I had kind of forgotten about him because I had a previous album of his in my iTunes library. But John K. Sampson of the Weaker Thans posted about this record on his Instagram, and I think he did some production on the previous Jacob Brodowski album, but he posted this kind of sweet story that was like, this kid who was like 14 came up to me at a Weaker Than show in 2008 and was like, "Are you guys working on a new record?" And I said, "No, you are." and now here he is with his second record, and it's pretty wonderful. Like if you're a fan of John K. Sampson solo stuff, like you will find something to like in this Jacob Brodowski album. Really like the song Colorado Low. It's just this. It's got that kind of like, Weaker Thans, Jim Bryson, like just kind of sweet, smooth indie folk that I don't often gravitate to, but when it's in the John K. Sampson sphere, I love it.
Nice.
Blake, you got a random rec?
Yeah, I do. One of my best friends in the whole world, Jack Tecca, just released a single called On My Back. And if you are a fan of Tyler Childers, which is somebody I've heard Jack talk about as being a fan of, you would like this. But I think more of a true recommendation from my side would be if you like the soft parts of Agriculture, you will love this. So it's an acoustic track that he just put out, and it's very emotionally heavy. Jack's voice is like very powerful, and he's singing a lot about like just very like personal topics. And I think the emotional weight is there, and the production is sparse, but he carries it with his emotionality in there. So shout out to Jack, and go listen to On My Back.
Awesome. Yeah, I need
shout out to Jack.
Sweet. Cool. Thank you so much, Blake, for being on today. Anything you want to plug at the end here?
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for having me on. Any chance to talk about Death Cab? I've been looking forward to this. It was hard for me to choose which album I wanted to talk about, and this one kind of lined up with the confluence of seeing them and doing it. So I could talk about any album. So thank you for having me. Broken Left Foot is playing at Cole's on August 21st with some bands from out of town, Destructo Disc, Better Living, and No Good With Secrets. And we're going to be opening that show at Cole's Bar in Logan Square. So very excited about that. And you can find my writing on Northern Transmissions.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week talking about Codes and Keys, an album that I have never heard. So I am excited about that. Or maybe I shouldn't be because it's always ranked last. It just got to be rankings.
Even Ben says so.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like the one song I know from it, so...
All right. In the meantime, you can find us on the internet at noisefloorpodcast.com. You can follow us on Instagram at noisefloorpod or send us email at noisefloorpodcast@gmail.com. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.